Alright, so I want to do a video to, for once and for all, make it clear to you guys why comparing different asset classes just on an asset for asset basis is fucking ridiculous and you need to stop it. The biggest example is housing versus shares. People go, what's better, house or shares? And you think that's normal, right? You think that's normal. It's a fucking most moronic question going out there. It depends on so many variables. Every asset has their own pros and cons, and depending on what your goals and objectives are, will determine what the best asset for that is. Most of you think it's just return based. It's fucking not. There's so many more things to it that matter. And I want to give you an analogy or an example here of something else that will make complete sense to help you understand why that is a stupid question. And what the difference between asking a question with or without context is, and why it's so important to have context. Let's say, for example, we talk about hair, right? And I said to you, what's better, right? If you could choose one, what would you choose? A shaved head or hair that goes all the way, Rapunzel hair, all the way down the street? Obviously, you choose a fucking shaved head, right? Because in that context, in that simple one versus the other question, why would you want hair that goes all the way up the street? Shaved hair's going to be much easier to use, to sort out. You can put a wig on, whatever. But if we add the context behind that question that expands a little bit more, and we say, the question isn't which one you have to have forever, what would you prefer to start out with? Would you prefer to start out with a shaved head, or would you prefer to start out with long hair? Well, then that would depend on your goal. Now, for most people, their goal would be have a certain hairstyle in general, right? Now, if you want to have a certain hairstyle that is not a bald head, then every single person with that answer would need to choose the hair all the way up the street. Why? Because it's the only way you could get to your end goal or objective of having a certain hairstyle nice and fast. Because no matter how long the hair is, you could cut it and shape it immediately into the hairstyle that you want. Versus if you go with the shaved head, you have to grow it out to the point and then cut it back to the hairstyle you want, being a longer way to get to the same goal. And this is why context behind goals and objectives is so important. Because when we're just saying shares or property and you're taking it out of context and just trying to compare the two on an asset for asset basis, you're removing so many variables that are important that could actually see you get to your goal quicker and more efficiently if we had more context and more of those questions and variables answered, much like the hair situation. Okay, so stop comparing assets for assets on an asset base or return base alone. Make sure you look at it from a contextual space and you ask the right questions and have the right goals and objectives in line to ensure you're not missing some very, very critical thinking points that could actually get you to your goal a lot quicker than the other. Hopefully that helps.